everybody, and welcome back to another build concepts tutorial with me, Jenfire, where I share my journey on how I learned to improve my buildings. Today, I'm going to be talking about roofs. Now, I've always found roofs pretty hard to do, to the point where most of my earlier builds, I would either dig down underground or I would dig into the side of a mountain just to avoid doing a roof, because I don't think I'm very good at them. I'm still not very good at them, but every time I do something, I try and push myself and learn a new skill. So today, let's have a look at this. We're going to start off with a few things that you need to consider. For starters, are you in creative or are you in survival? Because that is important. You're in creative, you can fly around and you can get whatever materials you want. If you're in survival, you need to do some prep work first. You need to get your materials. If you don't have a lot, this is going to be your best friend here. Have you got a bed? Have you got your food? Have you got a way of getting up and down if you fall off your roof? And most importantly, have you got fire tick on or off? Because that is going to be important in determining your material and your location as well. You don't want to do something flammable in the nether, for example, if you've got fire tick turned on. So now you've prepared for your build, you're going to think about a couple of things. Going back to our build concepts tutorial, the first one, I talked to you a little bit about the footprint of your building. Now, the footprint of your building is the basic layout, the basic shape, as you can see here. Now, sometimes the shape of your footprint of your building is going to determine the roof shape. For example, if you're doing a cylindrical type build, you're going to have either a cone or a point or a dome on the top. Whereas if you're using a pretty basic shape like a square or a rectangle, there are many different versions of roofs that you can make. It all depends on what you want. And also, you need to think about what type of roof you want to make. What style would you like? What genre? Are you doing fantasy? Are you doing a castle? Or you want something that looks realistic? Or you want a modern building? What height do you want this? Is it going to be a shallow roof? Is it going to be in sections? Are we going to have multiple different types of roof on multiple different layers? For example, mansion type builds will have multiple roofs with multiple different styles. Are they going to be interlocking at any point? Are they going to be different heights? Are we going to have a 1 block or a 2 block center? All these things you need to consider. But most importantly, you want your type of roof to match the style of build. For example, you don't want a fantasy roof on top of a modern build. Just wouldn't go. So you need to think about what you want to do first. What is it you want to achieve? While we're looking at types and styles, have a quick search on Google for different types of roofs and stuff. Here is something that I found when I did a quick little Google search, telling you all different types. Google is your friend. Use the resources you have to hand. Here we have 2 examples of your basic roof, your basic standard roof. When you just want to throw something together to be safe at night, you can put a flat roof on, or your A-frame. These are what I used to do when I started out. I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how we can improve these now. We're going to come over here to our template now. I've got a couple of templates to show you. We're going to do a couple of tricks to improve what we have over here. And the first one I want to do is I want to do this, but I want to improve it a little bit. I'm going to go with a different wood. My favorite is spruce. I'm going to come down here a little bit. I'm going to knock out the corners. I'm going to integrate the roof a little bit. With the build itself. I'm going to come down a little bit. I'm going to do an overhang, but in the different color, because I want to frame this on the outside. So we're going to go up again. Do the frame on this side as well. Just continued this up to the top and over the other side as well. And you can see it's already looking a lot better than this, but we're going to tidy up the underneath as well. So we're going to do some reverse stairs just here, just to give it a little bit of definition and a little bit of shape. And do the same on the other side. That, to me, looks 100 times better than that. So that is how to make a basic roof, just a little bit different, with an overhang, with an outside lining, and with some tidying up underneath. Very simple, very easy to do, not a problem. Let's try a different style. I think for this one, I would like to use some slabs. Now, this is going to be a shallower version of this roof. So here we have the same pattern again, but with slabs instead of stairs. This has made it a gentler sloping roof. And again, you can see the difference there. Again, much better than just one plain color, all flat and boring. I'm going to try something a little bit different now. Where we have the arches on either side on the gable end, we're going to try a little arch in the middle now. We're going to give this some shape. There's an example over this in my last tutorial. These might look familiar to you. Over here on the towers. Again, the footprint will determine the shape of your roof, but you can see here I've arched the sides. So let's try that one next. So on this one, I'm going to start on the outside ledge again. And I'm going to make a little archway here using some stairs. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There you go. I've done the same thing on all four sides. And we're going to go up on the next layer. We're going to use blocks behind these. Just raise the roof up a little bit for a little definition. Put a block there and a block there. Raise them up. These ones we're going to turn sideways as well. This one, just to give it that extra little bit of shape, we're going to do that all the way around. There we go. Now, I like to use this type of roof so I can define a window frame underneath. We'll do a tutorial on windows another time. That is usually what I like to do with this style of build, just to accentuate any detail on the side of a building. Could be over a door, over a window, or over some kind of decoration. We're going to move up to the next layer now and do the same thing again. Like this, so you can see I've filled in the corners there. I'm going to put some more blocks behind here. I'm just going to raise this a little bit. I'm going to put one that way, two that way, and one that way. And I'm just going to fill in this layer now, following the shape around. Now, stairs are directional. And sometimes they're tricky to place. For example, these corners here. Just keep fiddling around with it until you get them where you want. Sometimes it helps if you do put a solid block behind the stairs so you've got something to attach it to. And then I'm just going to cap this off with a couple of slabs. I like this type of roof. Gonna try something different now. We've done a regular one, we've done a flattish one, we've done almost a dome type one if you look at this, with the arches on the side. Now we're gonna do a tall version. Now I like to do these for the top of mansions. They're very good with a Viking style build. Very, very tall A-frame. So instead of your standard stair above stair, like that, we have an extra block in between there. So we have stair 1, 2, and then another stair. We're going to try that now. Again, I'm going to frame this in the spruce. Now, something about this style, with it being taller, it tends to end up in a single point. This style of roof works better in a one wide build. Now you can see I've got 2 wide here. I'm just going to nip this side out. I'm going to make it a little bit narrower, because this is better for a one wide building. There we go. So we're going to start from this side. You've got your 1, 2, and then another one. 1, 2, and then a stair. 1, 2, and then a stair. You can see it's getting very tall, but it is coming to the middle. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then stairs. And then 1, 2 in the middle there. Now, quite a lot of mansion type builds will have a pointed roof like this with some kind of detail along the top, like railings or spikes. This type of A-frame works really well with that style. I'm just going to fill that in now. I'm just going to add in a couple more details onto this last one here. Now, you can go straight across the top, but that doesn't really give it much definition. What you can do for a little bit of detail, if you want an older or decrepit building, is you can bow the top of the roof. So we're going to do that with some slabs. Just underneath like so. And you can follow that pattern down. Something else we can do as well is you can add in a dome, or you can add in a window into the top of, or into the side of your roof as well. We're just going to add a little window in there. And then we're going to fill the rest of this in. Don't forget, you can play around with details with your stairs and slabs as well to make a little bit more detail. So there is an example of that one. I'm liking where these are going so far, guys. I hope you're finding these tips useful. Now that we've done a couple of basics, we're going to move on to a couple of circle type builds. So I'm going to build these towers up, and then we're going to put some roofs on them. We're going to do 3 different styles here. So our first tower design that we're going to do, you guys may have seen before if you've been watching my season 5 episodes of Truly Bedrock. We're going to do the turreted top of my bridge towers. And here they are for context. So in this design, I started with some upside down stairs on the wider faces. And then on the diagonals, we were going up one. On the diagonals here, we had an extra block. And here, we went up 3. So there was a gradient in between. We got 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then again, the middle one had a spike as well. So they rise and fall. And then on top of each of these, for an added detail, I put some walls in. Because I'm using spruce here, I'm going to use fence, just because that is what I'm using as a template. That is a turreted top. And in the middle, in here, I just filled that in with a flat floor and a way to get up through a ladder. So that's a pretty simple tower top. Just putting a crown around the top of it. Next one I'm going to do is more of a cone shape. So let me put the template in and we'll get to doing that. For this one, we're going to be using mostly stairs and full blocks. I'm going to go around the outside layer here. I'm going to create a lip in the spruce stairs. And then very much like this last A-frame house here, we're going to put another block in between. So on top of these, we're going to put another block. And then we're going to go around with the stairs again, following that shape around. When we get to this layer here, we're going to do the cardinal ones facing inwards. And then as you can see, each of these has one backwards and diagonal. So they're going to face the same way as the cardinal ones. I'm going to go up another layer. Do the same thing. Cardinal ones. And these ones here I'm going to put a slab on. Again with the cardinal directions. And then a spike on the top. There you go, that is more of a cone shape. What I like to do sometimes is detail with some walls and fence posts instead, just to give that extra little bit of a gradient there. Just to make it more of a smooth shape going up. And last but not least, I'm going to show you my favorite way to top off a tower. It's called an onion roof. And they are my favorite tower top. I just don't get to use them that often because they don't usually fit in with the style of the build that I'm doing. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a ring around here. This is going to be the base of our onion roof. And we're going to start on the 4 cardinal directions and then fill in the bits in between. So we're going to start from this end here. We're going to come out a diagonal. Then a diagonal again. This one is going to go up 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go in diagonal by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to step it up with a 2. And then another 2. And then another 2. Now this top one should, in theory, be our center. Let's try this pattern again, but on the other 3 sides. As you can see here, this pattern meets in the middle. Once you finish that pattern on all 4 sides, you should have something that looks like this. And then we're going to fill in all the diagonals. And copy the pattern all the way around. Again here, that would be a diagonal. Here. And just gradually work your way around all the way up. Again, you can come in detail. With your stairs and slabs for extra gradient, extra detail. But these are things for you to play around with, guys. I hope this has given you something to think about. Here's a couple of designs that I've had in some of my test work. As you can see, they don't have to be your standard typical roof. They can be fantasy. They can relate to a different culture. Or they can just be very decorative. You have a little play around in a test world, see what you can come up with. Guys, I would love to see some pictures of what you've come up with in the Discord. I hope this tutorial has been useful or at least given you something to think about. Let me know in the comments how I'm doing and if there's anything else you would like me to do a mini tutorial or build concept on. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Appreciate your faces. Thank you for those of you who leave likes and comments as well. That is helping me on my journey. Come and join us in the Discord. Come and join us live on Twitch every day. We have a wonderful community. We have a Patreon server as well. If you want to come and join us on there, here's the links. And a big thank you to all my wonderful Patreons. Love your faces. See you next time. Bye!